Moving to the next panel discussion. This is going to be a panel discussion on Vision 2030, Gujarat Real Estate Development Forecast. This is going to be about deliberating on the real estate predictions, and we'll be delving deep into that. So the topic that's going to be discussed right now is Vision 2030, Gujarat Real Estate Development Forecast. As always, I'm going to be first introducing our honorable moderator, and then I'm going to be introducing our honorable speakers, and then I'll request our moderator and speakers, all of them, to join me on stage together after all the introductions are done. Our moderator for this session, ladies and gentlemen, Jigar Mota, Director and Head of Transactions, Cushman and Wakefield, Gujarat. Jigar ji has experience of more than 18 years in real estate and has been instrumental in assisting many multinational and large Indian corporate clients in setting up their office, showrooms, industries, warehouses, and in acquiring land across Gujarat region. He has been actively creating awareness amongst the general public on their queries on real estate through various mediums. To tell you all about our speakers, ladies and gentlemen, in alphabetical order, we have with us today Kamal, Singal, Managing Director and CEO, Arvind, SmartSpaces Limited. Kamal ji has been associated with the Lalbhai Group since 2001 in various capacities. He has elevated to head the real estate business of the Lalbhai Group in the year 2008, and currently he is responsible for giving strategic direction to real estate business and also identifying new business opportunities and to further expand the product portfolio of the real estate business. We also have with us today Mudit Shah, partner Khaitan and Co. Mudit ji is a partner in the real estate and general corporate practice group. He's a corporate lawyer with an experience of more than 15 years. He regularly advises clients across various sectors on various matters such as acquisitions, joint ventures, business transfers, commercial contracts, arrangements, infrastructure projects, real estate, banking, finance, and everything. Prior to joining the firm, he was a partner at Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas in Ahmedabad. We also have with us today Sharvil Shridhar, promoter A.Shridhar Group. Sharvil heads the company along with his father, Mr. A.Shridhar. He has been the president of the first youth wing of the real estate fraternity Hyatt in the Ahmedabad city, and he leads the group with a focus of creating value at each and every level where he is operating, be it for the customers or for the team. He has the pulse, ladies and gentlemen, on the changing demands of the market and converts it into demand-driven products, of course, to add value to the company. And we also have with us, once again, the pleasure of having with us right now Mr. Suresh D. Patel, who's the CMD Surya Group, Honorable Secretary, Naredco National, President, Naredco Gujarat, former Chairman, Credai Gujarat, and former President, Hyatt. Ladies and gentlemen, can I request all our esteemed speakers and moderators to please join me on stage? I know it's been a long wait, मैं बहुत बोल रहा हूँ, but then that is the kind of credibility that you all have created over a period of time. So the introductions are definitely justified. So of course it takes a little longer, but thank you so much. Pleasure. I'll request all of you to take your seats as per the seating arrangement, and yeah, and I believe Mr. Suresh is. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Pleasure. And stage is all yours. Can we update the timer, please, quickly for the reference of our speakers? Check. Just a moment. They're just updating the timer.
Sure. So, good evening, my friends, colleagues, esteemed panelists, and lovely audience. First of all, I would like to thank Sapna and entire Realty Plus team organizing such a wonderful event with so insightful topics in presence of large number of industry experts and wonderful audience. What is vision? Vision means ability to see. Vision means SRK thinking to win World Championship of Hockey with the most inefficient team. Vision means a small-time petrol attendant to establish world's largest glass route oil refinery. So friends, fasten your seatbelts as we will take you through the Vision 2030 with Gujarat's potential on real estate development. To start the journey, let me first run you through some fantastic statistical data points. Financial year 2022, Gujarat surpassed the benchmark of $259 billion of the economy. Since then, the state contributes with 5% of Indian population, nearly 8.3% to the Indian economy, with the highest share, which is 18% in the national industrial output, and around 1.7 times higher per capita income than the national average. A vision of government is future where every citizen in Gujarat will be living well, earning well, within the fabric of valued and valuable society. Gujarat aspires to unlock and harness women's true and complete potential, creating avenues for their growth, empowerment, and leadership by providing them with the right platform. Merely 10 years back, if we really observe, in real estate, it was hardly we used to see any, female co-workers. And the change is visible now. So let's have a big round of applause for all our women colleagues who are sitting over here. With that, by not taking much of your time, I welcome our esteemed panelists to enlighten us with the torch of their knowledge and experience. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause, please. Come on, guys. Thank you. So my first question goes to Mr. Mudit. Policy is the key for any development of any country, city, or town. How Gujarat's economic growth and policy reforms are shaping real estate?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Realty Plus, for inviting me for this insightful discussion. Jigar, basically to respond to your query, I divided into two buckets. First is your economic policy. Now, as a state, as the statistics and data point what you mentioned, it is no-brainer, it is very clear that Gujarat has always been in forefront in the manufacturing sector. Okay. Now, whether you pick up your typical pharma, chemical, ceramics, engineering products. Now, what has happened is Gujarat has also tried to take a lead in the new age sectors, which is your data centers, semiconductors. Semiconductors, when a couple of years back we had an opportunity to in fact work together. So semiconductors is there, then your green hydrogen is there. So in terms of, Gujarat as a state is trying to develop its economy, rather I would say bolster its economy with this new age sector, wherein it always has had an ecosystem and an advantage to it. So that is one big, rather economic shift which is happening apart from your typical traditional sectors for Gujarat. Another sector which maybe which is not really much spoken about, but has a huge impact across the value chain from ESG perspective, everything is your renewable energy sector. Now, Gujarat is sort of, comes in top 3 or 5 in the terms of established and commissioned project. Now, Gujarat government has done a lot to develop that as a sector, not just from electricity regulation perspective, but even from your local land laws perspective, starting from your easing out of conversions and leasing process and everything. So that has, so demand was there from a real estate perspective, economic perspective. Plus, there was a strong push from the side of policy decision from the government on each of these facets. Now, speaking about real estate, maybe if we can drill down quickly for 30 seconds in real estate, what Gujarat as a government at a policy level has done is they have digitized. Now, if you look, again, like when I speak to my counterparts in other states, like Pan-India, be it North or South or Kolkata, anywhere, the way the records are maintained in Gujarat are in a much better shape. I would not say that we are 100% through. Still, there are times and places where records are not available or something, but generally it is digitized. For us as lawyers to pull out documents, to do diligence, review documents, to prepare a title flow and everything has become much easier and faster, I would say. Thanks to all your records being available, at least from 2004-5, everything is digitized. Recently, what government has further done is it has taken digitization also into a next level. Now, since last year also, all your encumbrance searches, which used to happen for registered mortgages and encumbrances, it is now digitized. You can get it, you can easily do it sitting at a desktop. It's now a desktop diligence rather than the field diligence which used to happen earlier. So it's a big change. Again, in our practical experience, it's not full through. Still, there are certain lacunas in diligences, but it is still evolving. At least a bold step or a positive step what has happened. All your mutation entries, everything, all your title flow, you can easily pull out from your desktop.
So that's the real cost and the time saving per se when we
Indeed,
really
indeed.
talk about the larger picture practically. So that's really great, Mudit bhai. Thank you so much. So Suresh bhai, my question to you is that you are a president of Naredco and you have seen city's infrastructure developing from Ashram Road to SG Highway to again riverfront development. I mean, that's a great journey and you are such a senior person in real estate. So can you please enlighten us stating the role of infrastructure development in boosting urban real estate?
Yes. If you will check the data of the urbanization, especially in Gujarat, at present, before 4-5 years, it was around 39.5%. That is the urbanization area. Means in Gujarat, if you will consider the current population of the Gujarat, it is around 6 to 6.25 crore. Almost in 40% people, means 2 crore 40 lakhs people are staying in the first 26 urban cities of the Gujarat. Now, what is the scenario? The urbanization growth is now going in a rocket speed with 39.5% to 51%. Means within 10 years time, when the population of Gujarat will be around 8 crore, at that time 51% means 4 crore people will stay in these urban areas, 26 cities. In that case, the growth of the population is equally important if we will establish a proper infrastructure to the cities. If we are talking about the infrastructure, it is about the city infrastructure. Either it's a parks, it's a road, drainage facility, or either it's a lighting facility or whatever facilities considering as urban facilities. But over and above, we require the mass transportation also. That is like BRTS, and now we are going to develop the metro rails also. Over and above, the Ahmedabad is going to be connect with the Bombay with a bullet train. That is also the infrastructure investment. If you will consider a tourism circuit like the Statue of Unity or a new Dharoi development plan or even Shivrajpur beaches, all are part of our infrastructure. Over and above, if you will consider Gujarat, we are having an airport nationally or international or a domestic under pipeline. 19 airports are there, 19. Ports are with 11 new jetties, ports are 42 under pipeline in Gujarat. The railway bullet train is having the facility. Over and above, 7 new railway station projects are under pipeline. That is also the infrastructure. Freight corridor, out of Delhi to Mumbai freight corridor, 37% area is coming through Gujarat. That is also part of our infrastructure. Cargo airport, the biggest cargo airport of India, rather Asia, is going to be developed in Dholera. That is also infrastructure. Over and above 7,400 infrastructure projects are under central government or a state government within Gujarat. That is the infrastructure project. Metro and BRTS also part of it. Even you can consider GIFT City as an infrastructure project. You can consider Dholera, you can consider the Statue of Unity, or even exciting news, Ahmedabad is officially a host city for the 2036 Olympic. So many infrastructure project is coming, and that all will give a boost to the real estate industry. So infrastructure and real estate industry are interconnected. That is the main part of that. Over and above, as Mr. Mudit says, the automobile industries, chemical industries, pharmaceutical industries, gems and jewelry industries, textile and fabric industries, petrochemical, ports, energy, dairy, education, semiconductor in Sanand, manufacturing hub of many engineering in Rajkot, medical tourism, education tourism and sanitary and tiles industries are part of a industry as well as infrastructure. So if you will consider Gujarat, this is the time हमने जितना भी अभी तक last 10 years में development देखा है, आपको अब रॉकेट में टाइटन द सीट बेल्ट जैसी पोजीशन गुजरात में आने वाली है for next 10 years.
So that's a big hack which Suresh bhai has given. So guys, investors, now put in money. I mean, that's the time. You know, Suresh bhai has already given a lot of insight on what is happening on ground. There is a boost which is going to come in Gujarat for sure. So that really takes me to Kamal bhai. You know, last year India has seen historical sales in residentials across all the major cities. What's driving housing demand across key cities, sir?
Hello. So thank you very much. I mean, what drives housing in India is a question which has many answers. And there are obviously more than one drivers here. The most important one to me is the demography, the sheer number of young people who are becoming adults and then joining the workforce, active workforce, and the proportion thereof with the base that we have and the skill that we have in terms of overall population. I think this is one driver which is unbeatable. There are several other countries which are as populous as we are, or maybe little less, but still populous enough to drive growth. But the scale, size, and the demography that we are witnessing possibly is one of the finest, and this will continue to give us impetus in housing and real estate development in, I think, at least 2 to 3 more decades uninterrupted. And some of similar size countries actually are maturing and kind of getting saturated to that extent. That's one. The other is the scale of urbanization itself, as my co-panelist just said. I think that humongous shift, in a way, it is something which mankind has never seen before. The scale and size of urbanization, a 2% shift is a 3 crore shift, is unheard of. A 10 crore shift is Europe shifting from one place to another, right? And we are talking about 10% shift in any case in our population from rural to urban. Gujarat is already at 39%. That is not a small number. And we are going out there. And Gujarat, by the way, is one of the most urbanized states. And we got scope. At national level, the numbers vary dramatically and the scope remains as high as it is. So these two sheer numbers are mind-boggling. There are quite a few others, but I rate these two to be the most important factors behind. And on top of that, I think the organic growth that we are seeing in economy in general, last 10, 15 years have been extraordinary in terms of uninterrupted pace that we've seen in the country. That reflects into the momentum that we see in real estate. If you were to compare ourselves with the rest of the economies in the world and countries in the world of scale and size that we are talking about here, I think political stability is another factor which is driving economy in general, and consequently it is having a very direct impact on real estate in general. So that's another very important reason. I can keep counting these reasons, but these four to me are possibly the most important ones.
That's really insightful, sir. Thank you so much. So Sharvil bhai, today I'm gonna put a lot of focus on you. Just starting with this one question. You are amongst the youngest developers who have contributed in delivering many real estate projects across all the segment, be it commercial, be it residential, be it plotted development. So how do you evaluate risk versus return? I mean, how developers are rethinking on their capital strategies?
First of all, thank you, Realty Plus, for inviting me as a speaker, and I'm absolutely blessed to share the stage with such amazing dignitaries. I started my journey with my father's guidance. He was into land investment, and when I started as a developer, my first focus was to have a very organized real estate firm. Meaning organized real estate, I didn't want the cash part to be part of this industry. And that is why my only focus was on the mid-segment housing. But as I graduated more into this industry, as I matured more into this industry, I realized that I'm losing out on a lot of opportunities. And that's when we kind of diversified into various different products and various different segments of the real estate. Today our company is into all the facets of real estate, starting from affordable housing, mid-segment, upper mid-segment, luxury segment, bungalows, villas, weekend homes, plotting, commercial. The only thing missing right now is industrial plotting, where probably we'll take your guidance, Jigar, later on. And I think it has come quite naturally and gradually, as per the demand, as per the market situation, and we have analyzed every segment as per not only the demand that is in the market, but also we have also analyzed it how profitable, or at times how important it is to have a cash flow. So sometimes you look at few projects where more than the profits, the cash flow generation is very important, meaning the turnovers are more important. There is a faster. So for example, plotting development. Yes, there is good profits, but if you see, you have lesser permissions to take, especially when you are doing in the remote areas. The permissions are much faster. Probably in a couple of months you can start the construction work. You can deliver it fast if it's only plotted development and you don't have the villa development. So you can finish the project faster, you can complete the project faster, you can have faster turnovers. So there are strategic decisions based on not only the market, but also where your company is placed at. So you're always analyzing the risk versus the returns, and the risk versus returns are not always seen as profit. They are a lot of times seen as better cash flows. Also agreeing with what Suresh Uncle has said, what Mudit Bhai said, and even Kamal sir said, Gujarat is growing at a great speed. There is great urbanization happening. And unfortunately, I think as a developer, sometimes we are very satisfied with what our government is doing. You look at the pace of, global governments or even the other state level governments, there are good big promises being given by the government and there's a vision being put up for sure, and we are seeing good growth. But then if you check the reality, or if you ask any other developer, still the permissions for any project would take anywhere from 6-7 months to say about 12-15 months. And the reality is that if you are still buying a land, you are acquiring a land and you're putting money into land acquisition, and say your project is not starting for 12-15 months, then just imagine what kind of profits you would make out of those projects. So I think definitely a better vision is required. Just to exaggerate and say it on a lighter side, our team is like a Lagan team right now, and the vision is of beating the Goras. So it's a big vision that Gujarat has, but the first good step that our government has taken is to imagine and have a dream of a big vision. So that tick mark we have to put, that we have a big vision. Our government wants to host international events. Our government wants to invite big events like the Defense Expo was here, the Plastic Expo now happens over here, and the biggest thing that we are expecting now is the Olympics being hosted, the Ahmedabad-Mumbai bullet train, which Suresh Uncle talked about. So our government has started dreaming big, has started putting into implementation the big things. But I think the local developers and developers like us have a big role to play to be a support system to all this kind of vision. We need to support them by developing good homes, give them a good supply of good offices, good investment opportunity for the rest of the investors across the country. And for that, the local developers are going to play a big role. So I think that's where faster approvals and faster government involvement would play a key role.
Great. So that really takes me to the Suresh Bhai. Sir, as you know the pulse of the, Gujarat's real estate market, can you please tell us that what makes Gujarat attractive for domestic and foreign investors? ऐसा क्या है गुजरात की मिट्टी में?
बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, मगर मैं इकोनॉमी के एंगल से बताता हूं. इंडिया इज द 4th largest economy in the world, $4.19 trillion economy. In 2027, we will definitely beat the country and we will achieve the post of number 3 position. That is by sure. जिस तरह से हमारा ग्रोथ चल रहा है, एस्पेशली रियल एस्टेट इंडस्ट्री का जीडीपी में जो योगदान है वो 8.13% है अभी. यानी 8.13% के हिसाब से अभी जो हमारा ग्रोथ चल रहा है, तो आज की तारीख में मैं फिगर उसका बताऊं तो दैट इज अबाउट 36.4 ट्रिलियन का इकोनॉमी हमारा आएगा। रियल एस्टेट का 8% जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो आने वाले 20 साल में 15% होने वाला है जीडीपी ग्रोथ में। इन दैट सर्कमस्टेंसेस अगर 8% इन जीडीपी 2025 में है तो रियल एस्टेट $0.33 ट्रिलियन है आज इकोनॉमी में, और 15% जीडीपी से 2047 में रियल एस्टेट इंडस्ट्री ओनली विल बी $5.65 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी, विच इज हायर देन करंट होल इंडिया इकोनॉमी। दैट इज दी पोजीशन। अब उसको ग्रैब करना है तो उसके लिए जैसे बताया शर्विल भाई ने कि उसके पेस के साथ अथॉरिटी को भी अपना पेस मिलाना पड़ेगा। वी वर देयर इन दिल्ली बिफोर 3 days। हरियाणा रेरा अथॉरिटी ने 1500 एप्लीकेशन उनके पास जो आई है, उनका जो क्लोजिंग पीरियड है एप्लीकेशन को अप्रूव करने का, द मिनिमम क्लोजिंग पीरियड इज 24 आवर्स एंड द मैक्सिमम क्लोजिंग पीरियड इज 6 days। 6 days के अंदर वो लोग सारी एप्लीकेशन थ्रू कर देते हैं। दैट इज दी परमिशन। यानी इंडिया भी स्पीड कर रहा है, हमें दूसरे राज्यों के साथ स्पीड करनी है। मैं अभी दूसरे स्टेट का एक फिगर बताऊं, डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट जो एनएसडी है हमारा गुजरात का, दैट इज हायर देन तमिलनाडु एंड कर्नाटका। दूसरा जो ग्रोस स्टेट डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट है जीएसडीपी, दैट इज 25.63 ट्रिलियन है, और ट्रिलियन डॉलर्स और रुपीस, और कंपाउंड एनुअल ग्रोथ जो सीएजीआर है वो 15% 2002 में था, वहां से 2024 में हायर देन नेशनल एवरेज हम गुजरात का ऑलरेडी हो चुके हैं। और इंडिया का जितना भी इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन है उसमें से गुजरात 16% जीडीपी में कंट्रीब्यूशन देता है। तो वो सारे फिगर को देखते हुए गुजरात के सभी अथॉरिटी को, सभी इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट को और सभी डेवलपर इंक्लूडिंग रियल एस्टेट को बनाना पड़ेगा। तो आज हम अभी बैठे हैं रियलिटी प्लस, यानी इसको रियलिटी अगर हम बोलते हैं तो रियल एस्टेट जो नाम है वो हमने नहीं दिया है, सैकड़ों सालों से इन्वेस्टमेंट इन रियल एस्टेट इज द रियल इन्वेस्टमेंट, वो फैसिलिटी है। तो आज 2030 की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो यहां जो लोग बैठे हैं किसी भी फील्ड से, और आपने जो प्रश्न पूछा इंटरनेशनली एज वेल एज डोमेस्टिक जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो रियल में रियल एस्टेट के साथ जुड़ेगा तो पीपल विल ग्रो, जो पहले पास्ट में नहीं हुआ उससे कहीं ज्यादा।
Those are wonderful numbers, sir. I mean, that's really, really insightful to know that, you know, where the actual economy is really, really progressing on the real estate front. But that, you know, when it comes to that commercial discussion, you know, I would like to ask Sharvil bhai a question that, you know, where do you see in that case, because you have already done commercial projects as well, how do you see Gujarat's edge in commercial real estate and emerging asset class?
So commercial has had his ups and downs, but I think just like both the delegates have spoken about how so many industries are coming to Gujarat. I think every 5 years, Gujarat is becoming a new industrial hub, meaning say about 2 decades ago, we never had an automobile industry which was part of Gujarat, and now suddenly we are one of the leaders in automobiles. When Tesla is thinking about coming to India, Gujarat is one of the most preferred destination. So any automobile industry wants to come to India, Gujarat suddenly becomes the first preferred destination. Similarly for semiconductor industry, Gujarat is the #1 destination right now. Similarly for solar, for whatever. So I think every 4 to 5 years, Gujarat is creating a new industrial hub. What that means is that a lot of demand for offices and commercial real estate is coming into Gujarat. A lot of companies are coming into Gujarat. Recently I had a very interesting conversation with somebody who came to buy an office with us. So they are a 100-year-old law firm, and they were originally from Gujarat, and they shifted that base to Mumbai because Mumbai was the central hub of India, and they thought that Mumbai is and it is the financial capital of India, and they thought that's where the business lies, and they made their base there. They've shifted with their family to Mumbai, and after probably the second or third generation, now they are coming back to Ahmedabad. They think now this is where the base is, this is where the future of India is.
That's wonderful. That's
Right.
wonderful, sir. Yeah.
So that is a real story. We sold about 10,000 square feet to them, and he said, "Iski baju wali office abhi hold rakhna," and I'm like, okay, because that is the kind of opportunity they are thinking, and so definitely commercial real estate is going to do great guns. There is a new deviation that is coming into commercial real estate, and that is that probably the future buildings will all be managed offices. Meaning we have a lot of managing firms like Devex, probably Umesh Bhai was going to be part of this committee, but then he's not there. There is Paragraph. So there are a lot of good co-working and good managed offices consultants who manage their offices very well. Meaning that if any company wants to have a good service, say for example, recently we have a managed office on one of our floors in our building, and what they do is you could rent out a space of say about 500 square feet, where they charge you on the amount of people who are working, not on the space or the square feet consumed, per seat basis. And they have a great facility. You can hire a conference room, there is a breakout room, there is an entertainment room, there is a calling room for video conferencing. So, such kind of facilities and such kind of managed offices is where I see the future of commercial real estate could be in the coming years.
So all co-working players would be very, very happy, sir, looking at that vision as well. So that really takes me to Kamal, sir. Sir, you already have a notable presence in various other cities apart from Ahmedabad. So can you please tell us that how can Gujarat become a national benchmark for real estate innovation?
Sure, innovation is one part of it, but I'll just like to add a couple of things in what Sharvil Bhai just said. Gujarat is in a very unique position. I mean, across the country, if you do say which state is poised to grow more than the national average is a small benchmark. I think in the top quartile of growth, if you were to count, I think Gujarat has a very clear reason, and these reasons are very recent ones. We know Gujarat has done well in the past. We know it's doing well right now, but why it should continue? There are some clear reasons to that. One very, very big trend which is emerging is AI. We all talk about it. And there are people who are feeling the impact of AI on ground. And that impact is that a lot of people are losing jobs or expected to lose jobs. Now that's a negative. If that was to happen, by the way, it is already happening, especially in developed countries who are importing a lot of manpower for specific jobs to be outsourced from developing countries like India, etc. I think they are already on that path, and people have started losing jobs, or they are on the verge of losing jobs, or at least they have developed that fear that this is almost imminent. Who are losing the jobs? Unfortunately, this is a lot which was very important to India as a growth story. One, the creative guys, people who are designing homes, people who are designing other things, creating invites and stuff like that. And the second is IT, the coders, people who are creating softwares, etc., etc. If these two things are happening, and if India was to grow, something has to replace these two as primary engines of growth. And the only niche India has left out after these two major ones in the last decade that we have seen is manufacturing and services. Services already are doing great, but there has to be an added kind of impetus coming to it. And manufacturing has to rock. It is doing good, but it's not rocking for India. Last 3 decades is average. Last 1 decade better, but it's not rocking for sure. If India has to do anything meaningful, manufacturing has to really take off from where we are. And if that has to happen, Gujarat is the best in that sense, one of the best at least. Tamil Nadu, Gujarat and these kind of states. And we are already like 16% to 18% of industry. This is the data I just heard, which is great, phenomenal. 1/5 of what we do as industrial output in this country coming from one state of 6% population is stunning. There have to be some reasons, and if you have to work and continue to work on those, the next opportunity is ours. And of course, second is services. Services mean commercial real estate that Sharvil just said. To me, that is one value opener. It will unlock a lot of things. Services like restaurants, eateries, offices for insurance and banking and stuff like that. I think this is one space which will compensate for the loss of jobs, etc. in AI, as we just said. And that's again where we should be doing absolutely great. Sheer because of one sheer reason, that is the way we are planned. I heard quite a few expectations from Sharvil and on what government should be doing. Well, let me assure you, we have been operating in more than one states, and we are the happiest in this city when it comes to governments. Long or short, the durations and the gestations, at least they are predictable. There are situations where they are long and unpredictable. That's what kills. If there is anything which is predictable, it's fine, even if it is 5 years. Do you know how long does it take to get approval for a building in London? It is minimum 3.5 years. Minimum. They tell you on your face, and that's how your business plan should be. But it's about predictability. You know what will happen in London, and it happens that way. So I think Gujarat, to that extent, is better off, significantly better off. That is very predictable. And to that extent, real estate will continue to do great. Predictability is always good for any industry or for any business for that matter, and that continues. In the process of explaining what Sharvil was saying, I have already forgotten the question that I was given. If you can repeat the question, that would be great.
So I'll repeat it for you, sir, that how can Gujarat become a national benchmark
In innovation.
for real estate innovation?
So Gujarat is already a benchmark. I mean, if somebody was to come to Gujarat and see what we are doing, for the size we have, for the scale we have, for the city we were 10 years back and city we are today, I think there are benchmarks clearly to be seen. As a developer, I know. I travel to Pune, I travel to Mumbai, I travel Bangalore. Architecturally, we are already innovating. We are the best in terms of facades. You might not believe this, but you just drive down any new lane in this city, feel the creativity of the architects that this city has. Of course, there's a pedigree of a B.V. Doshi. There's a pedigree of architecture that we've seen in IIM Old Campus. And that pedigree has only grown better. I'm not naming few of the guys that I would have worked with in terms of architects and the firms here. They are the best in India. And we already have this innovation of facades and look and feel and that earthy look, the stone finish and the rustic feel, etc., etc. They don't exist. The prices are very different elsewhere, but the sheer maturity of the design here is much better than many cities that we know. In horizontal development, for example, Gujarat is already a benchmark. I mean, when we say Gujarat, it basically means Ahmedabad. And by the way, we've done great ourselves on that. We've set benchmarks on what can be done on large swaths of land, what kind of facility and infrastructure can be brought. In fact, you'll be surprised. We did few things which were great here. They were liked by the consumers. And we got a confidence that, okay, this size scale, possibly we can take it to a city like Bangalore. Bangalore otherwise is almost like 6 to 7 times what we do in real estate. But when that scale was taken there, it was lapped up by customers like anything. And when we did it, maybe some 5-7 years back, now people have started doing bigger things. This essentially means that we should all be proud that one Ahmedabad player, Ahmedabad innovation, went into a city in a segment which was otherwise not that developed, in a city which was 5 to 6 times bigger than us. And it did wonders, and now many people are actually replicating. So that extent, I think we are fairly comfortable. We are quite innovative already, and we'll keep innovating as a state and city.
No, that's really good to know, and I completely agree with you, Kamal sir. And that really takes me to, ask this question to Mudit bhai, that, as per you, what are those legal framework changes which in past and maybe going forward in future will change the landscape of real estate?
So in past, quickly speaking about the past, everyone knows RERA is a game changer. Okay. It has created a lot of confidence in the mind of investors and everyone. Now, I think maybe Kamal bhai and all must be they may have better data and insights, but I think now it's the time when we will start realizing the fruits of RERA as an authority. And RERA as an authority is also developing itself. Started bringing up policies for digitization, marketing, how you digitize your advertisements and everything. So if you look last year and recently, what they came up in June. So it's an example. They are also coming up, upgrading themselves in terms of policy-wise. Another small impetus to demand what Gujarat as a state tried to do apart from manufacturing is its industrial policy, which catered to manufacturing, and ITS policy. Now that also as a policy level is kind of fueling that while it's a legal framework, but it is fueling the demand in terms of commercial spaces. Of course, we are not as compared to other cities or states in India, but at least there is an intent, and with Gift City being there, and Twin City, what we speak about Gandhinagar and Ahmedabad, if you look in Gujarat IT circuit, I think that policy is going to be a big impetus, and more importantly, what it contains is data center. So while it is sitting part of your ITS policy, it is in a way speaks about a real hardcore infrastructure. We are speaking about data center, which is expected to boom and create a lot of demand in terms of entire real estate. And all these industries, what they do when they come is it needs an entire ecosystem. They need their ecosystem partners, their players, their workers, housing, your social infrastructure. They need everything. So it creates those, this kind of policies create those economic demand to it.
Though we have more questions, but I think the time is really short. So with this, it takes us all to the end of the session. And before I call for the questions from the audience, once again, I would like to extend my gratitude to the entire Realty Plus team and the lovely audience for having patience. Thank you so much.
All of you to give them a bigger round of applause, please. They definitely deserve every bit of it. Right from all the acknowledgements to all the humor, the fun, the knowledge, insights, we loved every bit of it. Thank you so much. I'll request Tripti Kedia, publisher and business head, to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers over here. Ek aur baar zor se Tripti ke liye taali, please, everybody. Thank you. We'll do a nice group photo with all of you as well, please. Thank you. Thank you so much, and with so many wonderful people on stage, of course, it calls for a moment of clapping and appreciation indeed. Thank you so much. The warmth is felt wonderfully. Thank you so much.